centralized index of notable clips, headlines, and references being shared across the community, organized for quick browsing. Use it to spot patterns, pull links, and build your own research list. Qnotables.com. Browse the notables, verify the facts, stay informed. All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here. From the Q Research Board's February 9th, 2026, President Donald Trump posted a Super Bowl message on social media telling Americans to enjoy the game and saying the country is stronger, bigger, and better than ever, adding, "The best is yet to come." The Department of War account also posted a Super Bowl message wishing Americans a good game, as several official and political accounts leaned into a heavy patriotic theme around Super Bowl Sunday. President Trump also sat for a Super Bowl interview that circulated widely online, adding to a steady weekend media push tied to the game and broader national messaging. Turning Point USA promoted an alternative, all-American halftime show tied to the Super Bowl, with performances advertised by the group and coverage noting the event was positioned as a counter-program to the NFL halftime show. Separately, President Trump criticized the official Super Bowl halftime performance in a social media post, calling it one of the worst ever and saying it did not reflect American standards. Military planners confirmed changes to the Super Bowl flyover lineup, with reporting that F-22 Raptors were pulled due to operational assignments. Coverage also detailed a joint Navy-Air Force flyover plan that included B-1 bombers and multiple fighter aircraft. In corporate news, more than 800 Google employees and contractors signed a petition urging the company to cut ties with ICE and Customs and Border Protection and to provide more transparency about government contracting. In Japan, Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's coalition won a landslide election victory, strengthening her mandate and putting her proposed tax and economic agenda at the center of attention domestically and internationally. In Australia, thousands protested Israeli President Isaac Herzog's visit to Sydney, with heavy police presence and multiple reports of clashes, as the visit prompted both strong support and sharp opposition across the country. In federal court news, the U.S. Justice Department announced sentencing in a case tied to a weapons export conspiracy involving an alleged plan to move military-grade arms intended to support a coup scenario in South Sudan, with officials describing the arsenal's value in the millions. Senator John Fetterman drew attention after comments supportive of voter ID requirements, arguing that showing identification to vote is a mainstream expectation for many Americans. The National Institutes of Health opened a program office tied to East Palestine, Ohio, describing a multi-year $10 million research initiative focused on long-term health outcomes after the 2023 train derailment. In Florida, Rockledge police said 3 daycare workers were arrested on child abuse allegations tied to a local childcare facility, and police urged any affected families to contact investigators as the case continues. In Colorado, a former Jefferson County Public Schools counselor pleaded guilty in a child sexual assault case, according to local reporting on the court outcome. In Missouri, a former West Middle School teacher facing child sex crime charges was granted a bond amendment and placed on home detention, according to court record reporting and local coverage. In Texas, authorities announced the arrest of a juvenile detention center supervision officer on child sexual assault allegations, with reporting indicating multiple warrants and an ongoing investigation. At the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy, Lindsey Vonn suffered a serious crash during the women's downhill and was transported for treatment, with multiple outlets reporting she later underwent surgery. SpaceX drew fresh attention after Elon Musk said the company is prioritizing a self-growing city on the moon, with reporting describing the move as a near-term focus shift, while Mars remains a longer-term objective. An investigation reported by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists says Mexican cartels have used .50 caliber ammunition produced for the U.S. military in attacks that overwhelmed police, raising renewed scrutiny on cross-border trafficking routes and supply chains. Attorney General Pam Bondi acknowledged mistakes in how Epstein-related records were handled and redacted, with reporting describing DOJ communications to courts about problems in the release process and steps being taken to correct errors. Senate Intelligence Committee. Vice Chair Mark Warner criticized DNI Tulsi Gabbard's involvement around an election review matter, saying it raised serious oversight concerns as the dispute spilled into Sunday political coverage and public statements. In the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, authorities are examining alleged ransom communications, including a reported demand of $6 million in Bitcoin, while investigators continue searches and have urged the public to send tips directly to law enforcement. Online commentary around the Epstein file release continued to spike, including claims circulating on social media that attachments contain additional material. Officials have not endorsed those claims, and the focus remains on what DOJ releases and what courts and investigators can authenticate. A widely shared post repeated a quote attributed to a tech review of Epstein file attachments and claimed hidden content could be surfaced by reversing encoding. The claims circulated as opinion commentary online rather than as a verified law enforcement or court finding. On the Olympics beat, women's snowboard big air qualifying at Milano Cortina 2026 produced a strong field advancing to the final, with top names and medal contenders safely through after the qualifying round.
At shop.isawaya.com, everything you buy supports Acun.top, the place where people talk freely no matter what. Check out our Acun Honey Pot, a jar of yummy honey that's as strong as your voice. Put it on toaster and tea. It's not just honey, it's freedom in every bite. Then there's Acun Butter, a smooth handmade skin cream that makes you feel good while you fight for what's right. Awesome wooden pieces for display only. Hang them up or set them out. They're for showing off Acun's tough spirit. Want to help even more? Get a proto membership. So go to shop.isawaya.com now and grab some goodies. Help Acun.top keep free speech alive, and let's keep the ideas flowing loud and free.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Boards, February 9, 2026, Puerto Rico enacted a law recognizing legal personhood of the unborn from conception in its civil code, while reporting notes abortion remains legal on the island under existing court precedents and legal structure. Photos and posts circulating during Super Bowl weekend showed President Trump spending time with Senator Lindsey Graham, part of a broader set of public-facing appearances and social media moments around the game. A federal judge ordered key documents tied to the FBI's seizure of Fulton County election materials to be unsealed by February 10th, escalating the legal and political fight over what was taken and why. Super Bowl advertising chatter focused heavily on Budweiser's American Icons spot featuring a Clydesdale and a bald eagle, with multiple outlets highlighting it as one of the more prominent Americana-themed ads of the cycle. Separately, live updates and local coverage describe Super Bowl, street party scenes, and the broader event week atmosphere around Levi's Stadium, including heightened security and large crowds for game day celebrations. A new political media flare-up circulated online after commentary attributed to Bakari Sellers in a Don Lemon discussion was amplified by partisan outlets, with the rhetoric becoming a flashpoint for debate over political language and escalation. A report on internal MAGA movement debate pointed to renewed arguments over U.S.-Israel policy and historical grievances tied to the 1967 USS Liberty incident, showing how foreign policy fractures continue to surface inside the coalition. In the Nancy Guthrie case, investigators searched property linked to family members as part of their effort to locate her and assess competing theories, while officials emphasized the investigation remains active and evidence-driven. The U.S. Army posted promotional content challenging viewers to hang with the Army Rangers, pushing recruiting and fitness messaging through official channels. Russian authorities say they arrested suspects tied to an attempted assassination of a top Russian military intelligence general, Lieutenant General Vladimir Alexeyev. Russia's FSB alleges Ukrainian direction and says the suspect was detained in Dubai and returned to Russia. Ukraine has denied involvement, and key claims are not independently verified. U.S. Marines with 1st Battalion, 1st Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division conducted a platoon-supported urban raid during Integrated Training Exercise 1-26 at 29 Palms, California. The Marine Corps describes the training as realistic, scenario-based preparation to build unit lethality and leadership at every level. Secret founder of Bitcoin is Jeffrey Epstein. Satoshi Nakamoto is a recurring internet theory. There is no credible proof establishing Epstein as Satoshi, and serious reporting treats Satoshi's identity as unresolved. Official and media reporting on Super Bowl LX flyover planning said the formation includes Air Force B-1 bombers and F-15C Eagles, plus Navy F-A-18E Super Hornets and F-35C fighters. Separate post promoted the flyover to the public as part of game day ceremonies. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani signed an executive order reaffirming sanctuary city policies and outlining limits on cooperation with immigration enforcement without judicial warrants. Coverage says the Trump administration criticized the move, escalating a public dispute over immigration enforcement and local policy. Canada and France opened consulates in Nuuk, Greenland, in a high-visibility diplomatic signal amid heightened Arctic geopolitics. Reporting describes the move as support for Greenland and Denmark and as part of broader Arctic security and engagement efforts. Iran's foreign minister publicly insisted Iran will not give up uranium enrichment in talks with the United States, framing enrichment as a non-negotiable right. Reporting also notes U.S. regional military optics, including carrier presence, as negotiations and pressure continue. In Sudan, reporting described a deadly strike on a vehicle carrying displaced families in North Kordofan, with a doctors group saying at least 24 people were killed and blaming the Rapid Support Forces. The RSF has denied or disputed responsibility in various incidents, and the broader war continues to drive mass displacement. Statement announcing Jeffrey Epstein's death dated one day before is a viral claim tied to document dumps and online interpretation. I did not find a credible, authenticated document trail confirming that a legitimate official death announcement was dated before the death in the way implied. France's former culture minister Jacques Lang resigned from his role leading the Arab World Institute amid a French financial investigation involving alleged tax fraud laundering linked to Epstein-related business ties. Lang and his daughter deny wrongdoing, and reporting notes no evidence tying them to Epstein's sex crimes. Reporting has described Israel's military legal system as closing or leaving unresolved many allegations from earlier phases of the Gaza war, drawing criticism from rights groups and others who argue accountability is inadequate. Israeli officials have argued internal review mechanisms operate within military law, while international scrutiny continues. The conservative treehouse marked an anniversary of its community, referenced in posts celebrating longevity and engagement. Milano Cortina 2026 opening ceremony imagery triggered online backlash, with some viewers alleging satanic symbolism like an upside-down pentagram. Japan's ruling conservatives won a decisive election result while opposition forces remain weak and fragmented. Claims that left-wing parties are down to just 3 seats were not clearly verified in the sources I reviewed. What is clear is that the opposition suffered major losses and the ruling bloc achieved a dominant majority.
Every voice matters. The power of free speech is more important than ever. Imagine a place where you can share your thoughts freely, explore new ideas, and engage in meaningful conversations anonymously. With online anonymity, you can express yourself without fear of judgment. It's about freedom, creativity, and connection. Join the conversation that matters. Embrace your voice. Celebrate your freedom. Visit 8kun.top today. That's 8kun.top.
Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com.
That's all for now. Stay alert, stay informed, and never hand your thinking over to anyone on a screen, including me. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. See you soon.